Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everybody, my name is Muhammad Irfan bin Cik Rani, and today I will be presenting about my daily lesson plan, which is in computational thinking, about my task 3, which is my essay writing. I think it's about 800 words, so I will be presenting in a slide so you guys will understand it more. So let's go. I hope you guys understand my presentation clearly. So let's go. So here we are on our second slide over here. So this is my intro first about my lesson plan. So today my subject I picked for my daily lesson is mathematics because I'm in major in mathematics, so I can explain it more clearly and you guys can understand it more rather than I speak about Bahasa Melayu English. It's gonna be a lot of trouble or mess. So let's move on about the chapter. We're gonna learn about addition because it's easy for primary school students to learn about it. So here we are, we have topic or title 2.1 addition of numbers in around 1000. We have I pick for class is my two charisma, which is for 70 minutes. Is here we have 70 minutes is enough for learning for primary school children because they might get bored quickly and not fully concentrate because it's skate, so kids can get distracted easily. So we have positive attribute about this activity, which is rational and highly self-sufficient, cross curriculum connections, creative, innovative, and great skills. And here we have student aspirations, knowledge, thinking skills, leadership skills, bilingual skills, ethics and spirituality, national identity. Which mean over here, which is what the students need to develop about their characteristic or aspiration in the activity that we want, we hope for. So let's move to this with the mathematics subject was chosen because mathematics is very interesting subject and challenges children's mind to think critically to solve problem. The additional topic was chosen because it's a basic topic and commonly found in primary school. The SKP so that students can understand that topic in a more interesting and unique way. Connection across the curriculum here where creativity, innovation and great skill mean to instill these equalities in the student so that a more intellectual and viable individual is born. So let's move on. Alright, so here we go in my third slide over here, my task 3 and latest plan. It's about computational thinking. So here, you guys gonna see about learning objective, learning standards or learning outcomes, and success criteria. So here, you guys can see, might think it is kind of same as the previous one, but here, also, of course, like the previous slide is also about the important things about the daily lesson plan or about the activity here, what we want to get from the activity, what the benefit. But here in this picture or slide over here, I'm going to explain it in a deep meaning or in deep understanding so you guys can understand it more about it or kind of see what we want to obtain from this activity, so or what we want to get. So here first we're going to learn about learning objective. Of course, as a teacher, we don't want any activity that we do with the students or children's to go to waste. Like it one day we do activity and after we go back to our home, we're just gonna forget about the activity like it's already passed away. Let bygone be bygone. That's not what we want. So as a teacher, we want the student to remember for the rest of their life about the activity so they can apply it in their futures, or when they face certain problems, they can use mathematics to solve their problems if it involves as like calculating items or anything about math. So first, we're going to learn about student scan. Here, what we want to get from the activity is about what students can achieve, what students' knowledge is increasing about after the activity. So here, the benefit that I want from the activity is about 2.1.1 over here is students can identify the addition of numbers based on specific numbers and situations. Of course, like I said before, math has their own formula and each formula has to use on its own situations. Like for example, in primary school, we learn about addition, subtraction, multiplying, division. Each of them has to use in certain problems. We cannot use all of them in every problem because some problem just need a division, some problem need a multiplication, and some problem just need only addition or subtraction, just like that. Or maybe some problem need to combine two or three um, like subtraction, multiplication, and division, like that. So we need to know what we need to use at the certain problem so we can get the right answer and solve the problem. So now we're gonna move back to 2.1.2 over here, which is identify. Students can identify the sequence pattern of adding numbers used, which is like in such a problem when we uh, kind of facing problem about sequence problem, like when uh, we get collect of items. For example, the first day we collect 2 items, the second day we collect 2 items. We want to calculate about how much we can get in the future. So in easier case, we're going to make a formula for it. For example, when the first day 2 items, second day 2 items, and third day is 2 items, when we combine both, it's going to be 6. But it's kind of hard when we want to, calculate for 100 days. We don't want to like calculate 2 plus 2 plus 2 for 100 times. It's gonna like waste our time and waste our energy. So in easy way, we're gonna create a formula about it, which is a simple formula that even primary school that can understand it, so to solve our problems in a simple and fast way. So here we are, moving on to 2.1.3 over here. We're going to represent number with small and simple objects so that they are easily understood by students in the learning process. Of course, a student or a primary school student have not interested in straight to the point answer. They just like want to learn about fun stuff, fairy tales, and creative things or fun things to do. So, as a teacher, we need to create a creative way to attract primary school student attention. So, in this case, we're going to use an object, an image that they really like. For example, like cats, candies, or maybe rainbows that you can use to use as a number for the object. For example, one rainbow equals to one number one, which is only one object. So when we plus another rainbow, it's going to be two objects, also as 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. So we need to get a creative way to attract the students' attention so they can give their full attention when the learning session. So moving on to 2.1.4 over here, which is apply the concepts used in other questions to test student understanding of what was learned. From here, if you guys want to know what it means, which is when we solve one problems about a certain formula or we use a certain subtopic or formulas, we don't want to stop there. We're going to need to apply a different situation, but still use the same method. So we can kind of test our skill or our understanding, which is, did we really understand about this topic or this kind of formula to use when we get different problems? Because of course, human cannot be trained just to know one thing, just to to remind or remember one thing. We need to apply it to a different situation so we can adapt to a different situation, but still we know what to do. Just change a little bit the number in the formula or what we need to add, subtraction, division, like that. So over here also the same thing, which is a different kind of uh, part about, which is also the same as learning objectives, which is the learning standards or learning outcome. It is the same, which you can see here, which is also about students can identify the addition and etc. It is the same, but kind of to make it more specific. So here we guys can see here, which is success criteria. At the end of PDPC, students can 2.1.1 up here, which is what we want, create a more effective number addition sequence pattern, like I said before. We want students to be able to create in a successful way or in a very creative way, so they will keep remembering or can apply it to another situation. So 2.1.2 over here, like I say, apply the same concept to different numbers. And 2.1.3 over here, use the appropriate formula or solution to find the sequence of addition of number with a certain amount. Of course, if you use it in a different or wrong situation, we will not be getting the answer that we want or the answer that's supposed to get from the formula or from the problems that we need to solve the problems as it. So let's move on to the next slide to learn about more about my daily lesson task. So here we're gonna learn about, of course, here we have another one, which is 2.1.4. Make a sequence pattern dividing the numbers 5 out of 7 question correctly. From here, which is this mean of here, in the end of the session, I'm going to give the students a question, which is a 7th question, and suppose hopefully that one students can be able to answer 7 questions, with 5 questions from the 7 question, which is, of course, we don't expect them to fully answer the question. We just want them to kind of understand it a little bit more, which is, so 5 out of 7 is kind of perfect place to make a range for them to understand, to know what their limit of understanding about this topic. So moving on over here, which is key concept or treasury, of course, over here, and this is over here, which is study materials resources, which is key concept treasury is about all of these things. What is the duration, the purpose of activity, the what is the information about the activity over here. So here we have study materials or resources. Well, what is the item or kind of tools that we will need to use in this activity, which is eraser, box, paper, and pencil. So here we have teaching and education activities. Also, we have implementation of activities over here. Computational thinking concept. Of course, in this kind of test, I need to apply mathematics computational thinking concept in mathematics. So what I choose here from the computational thinking that I want to apply in mathematics is decomposition, pattern recognition, abstraction, algorithm, evaluation. The reason why I choose these computational thinking concept is based on their meaning over here, because their meaning is kind of perfect match for the mathematics problems and its solution. This kind of concept is kind of matching for the step for the to get the answer, which is can be explained with the computational thinking concept. So here we're going to learn about meaning of decomposition. Decomposition is a breaking a problem or system down into its different parts. When we're faced with a complex task, we often break this down into smaller, more manageable chunks. Like mathematics, if we kind of don't want to get crazy into mess stuff or like big stuff, we're going to make it smaller. We're going to make like things, we're going to create a simple way that we can understand it rather than like the information like kind of messed up or being, you know, separated away from each other. We're gonna like group them together and make them easier to understand. So right now about pattern recognition, by noticing pattern we can make prediction about what will happen next, create rules, and solve other problems. Like I said, when we're dealing with sequence pattern numbers, like we want to calculate about 100 sequence about when we get obtain 2 items for each day, and we want to calculate what numbers of items that we get on the 100 days or sum of the items. We don't want to 2 plus 2 plus 2 by step. And we don't want to do that. It's going to be a lot of steps. So rather than we're going to create a formula or recognize the pattern, so we can create a formula to get the answer of 100, 100 days or 300,000 days easier. So here, next we're going to move on to the abstraction. Abstraction is the identifying what is important and leaving out information we do not need, which is we're going to collect important, for example, in mathematics, which is in like sentence problem, we just want to collect important form information rather than just to read the whole sentence again. You're just going to collect you know information that we need so we can explain it to the student. So we're just going to move on to the algorithms over here, which is an algorithm is an exact sequence of instruction or set of rules for performing tasks, which is of course an algorithms. We need to create a step by step to solve the problem. We cannot skip a step or else we're gonna mess up the answer or the solution, because mathematics has their own ways to solve a problem. We cannot mess this thing up. We cannot like use step 3 first and then step 1. No, we cannot use that, or else the solution will be, to get the solution, it will be hard, or maybe we cannot obtain the solution at all. So moving on to evaluation. We use evaluation when we make judgment based on different factors, such as what we need something to do or what outcome we are trying to achieve. So it's kind of same as a science. If we learn science, we make about conclusion or hypothesis, but in this case we want to improve it. When we make a conclusion or make a hypothesis, we want to improve it by making evaluation. So we know what is the problem, but we want to improve it more. So let's move on. That's it. So move on to the beginners, which is the first activity. What we want to do is involvement, which in 6 minutes. Of course, the perfect time for that I choose for the primary school students. Number one over here, students will be explained about adding numbers to improve their understanding. Number 2 over here, students will be given examples to identify the sequential pattern or sequence pattern of adding numbers to be understood more clearly. For example, I use, for example, abstraction. What's the meaning of using abstraction here? Rather than we use number like 3, of course we have 3 picture of cucumber and 2 picture of cucumber down here, which is 3 plus 2. Rather than just use number 3 plus 2, it's kind of boring for the students or children to see. So I put on the picture of the cucumber to replace the number of 3. So by placing 3 cucumbers and 2, by placing 2 pictures of cucumbers. So when we add we add them together, it also obtain one the result, which is 5. But the different way is when 3 plus 2 is only 5, but when 3 cucumbers plus 2 cucumbers, it results in 5 cucumbers, which is the same 5. So it is kind of interesting way, like I said in the explanation over here, which is included to get students interested in this learning process, because children like colorful things. It will be attracted students' attention more and make this study session more effective. So let's move on. Alright, so here in my sixth slide over here of my lesson plan, task 3, over here you guys can see on top here maybe what you guys think, what is this, what is 3 plus over here? It's the same as the previous slide, which is about cucumbers, which is 3 represents symbols as the 3 cucumbers and 2 over here represent as the 2 cucumbers, which mean the 3 cucumbers plus 2 cucumbers equals to 5. In this case, it is the number, but in that picture, 3 plus 2 cucumbers equal to 5 cucumbers, but I'm sorry, I didn't include a picture of 5 cucumbers over there. So moving on, over here, we can learn about pattern recognition. So as you can see over here, like I said, as an example over here, 2 items plus 2 items and plus 2 items for a sequences. As in here example, I included as a picture of an eggplant, so I can attract the attention of my students over here. So right now, we have 2 eggplant plus 2 eggplant plus 2 eggplant. So hence, the way to solve this problem as basic formula, we're just going to add these 3 sequences. So we're going to add 2 plus 2 plus 2 equals to 6 in the basic stuff, but it's kind of hard, will make us tired a little bit. So let's move on to the second thing, evaluation. Rather than, of course, we're going to learn the formula in the next slide. Just the introduction first. So move on to the evaluation. Student will be asked if there's another way to solve this question. Like I said, mathematics can be solved in different methods. So it will be, of course, different methods have different difficulty. For example, there's a hard way, there's a medium way, there's an easy way. But of course, as a person, as a human, we want it to be easy. So here we have the teacher will then explain in the method in this way. In this method, we're going to explain it by graph or by tables, so we can see it in more categorized or more organized things, rather than kind of mess up place in different places or kind of like mass distribution. Over here we have eggplant group, which is the first group equals of the first group consists of 2 eggplant, which is over here eggplant per group, of course 2 of 2 of 2. So eggplant group over here as the picture of top here, we have 3 groups, which is 1 2 3, so which is 3 total group, and then per group have 2 for first group 2 for 2 group, and 2 for the third group. So when we add the total, we have 6. In this way, it can organize way or in a kind of well distribution way, so we can understand it more, we can see it in clearly. So based on the calculation table, we can form a formula such as this. Is where we learn about formula. We can form about, when we see the information from the table, we can make a hypothesis or conclusion that we can make formula from based on the graph or the table, where n represent the group of number, which is the number group what we put on the question. The first group consists of what number of items in it, the second group what items in it, the third group what total of items in it. So for example, here if we want to count the addition of equal in the fourth group of sorry for the mistake over here, then use the formula 2 plus 2 in the bracket over here, like the formula, and which is the fourth group that we say over here. So we put the number 4 to the fourth group, minus 1, which is equal to 3 in the bracket. If the number with the bracket number is going to be multiplied, so 4 minus 1 will be 3. So 2 times 3 is equal to 6. It is 6, and then plus the 2, which is equals to 8. This is 8 over here, as you guys can see. So let's move on to the next slide. We're going to learn about explanation, which is 6 minutes. Then will be explained why the formula was formed and why it is so helpful in solving continuous addition of numbers. So here, which is 2 plus 2 in the bracket and minus 1, the 2 first over here, which is the first number here, which is 2, represent the total number of objects for the first group and so on. The first group, the second group, and third group, when we have the same sequence, same object in the sequences. So let's move on. So n in this same formula as well, and represent the number of groups involved. For example, if we want to involve 6 groups of n items in it involved in the question, we're gonna need to put 6 in the terms of n over here on the formula. So for example, this in here formula as well, we have the minus 1 for n. The minus 1 for n over here to enable the calculation of the total group to be accurate. Of course, we don't want to, there's an error in the calculation. As a mathematician, we want the calculation to be perfect. So let's move on to the exploration, which is 6 minutes over here. So in this thing, which is the main activity, we're gonna learn about the, which is the first thing we're gonna do is the exploration. And from the exploration here, the students are given some examples question about adding numbers continuously from small to large digit to improve the students' level of understanding and ability in this chapter. Bring the illustrative question on A4 paper. Of course, as a teacher, we only like organize the paper of question to the student rather than using high digitals that will cost a lot of money, but we just use a cheaper method. So the first house, which is over here, of we call it as a group, which is 6 candies, and the second house we obtain from the house, which is also 6 candies, and so on. The question states on the paper are as follows. On the first Hari Raya Aidilfitri, Ali went from house to house to get a little gift on that day. Ali has received as many as 6 candies for each house he visits. Calculate the number of candies that Ali can collect at the 20 house if Ali visits house to house continuously. So in this case, the teacher will need to give 1 minute for the students to solve the problem without help from the previous teacher or the teacher that is teaching. I'm sorry, my English kind of bad. Make sure there is no imitation, which is kind of cheating, or in other terms. During the activity, try to observe the situation in order to detect students who are able and unable to solve the problem, which is the proper way for teachers to do is analyze, right, what students are enabled to do the task or what students cannot enable to do the task. So moving on to evaluation as well, we're going to learn about evaluation over here. After the time is over, the teacher should ask the student if they can solve it by themselves. Also ask students about their views on the level of difficulty of the question. Are there a few students who did not even try to answer the question, or students who tried their best but did not succeed in solving it? What is their way to solve the question? This is important as a teacher to bring in the daily lesson plan, that what would the problem that we face when doing the activity, so we can make a preparation for the next time, so we can be prepared for this problem, so we can help the students to overcome this um, problem or uh, problem, like it says, so they will be more matured and they can solve the problems in the future, or their in the next time, or in their future. So let's move on to the next slide. So over here we're gonna learn about development, which is in 6 minutes also, the average time for primary school. Students are divided into several groups to work together to solve a problem more effectively. Each group will be given the same question related to adding numbers so that there is no imitation or copying or cheating and fighting between students. After all the groups are finished, the question results will be checked by the teacher to correct the student's mistake. As a teacher, we always want to know what's their problem and we want to correct their mistake, so they will know what the mistake and not will do it again, or maybe become a better person. So students from other groups can see the work of other groups among themselves, so that they can see the other example to the career reward method. This kind of method, like in the number 4 over here, is really interesting to do in primary school for primary school students, because it kind of a fun activity to do, and this fun activity will attract student attention more to involve in this activity, so they will gain knowledge more in this way. So the question answer will be taught like this. So in the first way, which is decomposition or decompose, we're going to learn about, now it's time for us to teach the students how to solve the problem of the given question in simple way. As a teacher, we know the simple way, so we need to teach the students about it. Teach students how to break the difficult of large problem into smaller parts so that the question becomes more easy to solve. As the definition goes, as this is decomposed like we state as before. As here we now go to the 12th slide, we have first to make a table like same before. We're gonna make how much the house that we went to, which is 6 house, and then the number suites, which is first house and the first plus 2 house, and then so here there's first house plus 2 house plus third house and so on for the 6th house. But 6th house we don't know because we don't want to do a lot of work. So here we come here the pattern recognition. Ask the students if they can see the sequences increasing the number of sweets in each house visited by Ali. The number of candies will increase by 6 for each house visited. Ask the students to find the amount of candy that Ali got in the 5th house. To solve the question, we need to find a pattern first to make the solution easier. Ask the students to find a pattern based on the table form that has been made on the whiteboard to produce formula that can be used to find the number of sweets in the number of houses with easy. Make a table to show the students so that it can be understood more easily. Alright, so here we are on another example of how to do a non-routine way. So here, for example, like the previous question, we have one house contained of 6 candies. So which means if we have 5 houses or visited 5 houses, it is like the same as 6 times 5, which is equals to 30. So 6 times 5 house or multiply by 5 house, we get 30 candies. So let's go to the next slide. Hi everybody, so here we are. So this is like 5 house. The 5 house consists of 6 candies. So which means if we this house that we want to visit it, Ali want to visit 20 house. So if we want to get the 20 house from 5 house that we have already gotten 6 candy from, we can multiply it by 4. So like 5 over here, like this, 5 times 4, which is I'm sorry, which is equal to 20 right there. So which is equal to 20. So right now we get 20 houses. So from here, which is we have 20 houses. Sorry, let me take this pen. We have 20 houses from here. So 20 houses, if we multiply it by 6 candies, we're gonna get 120, which is another way of getting all the candies that Ali get from 20 houses. So there we go. So here we have the table with the pattern as the formula we use and -1 in the bracket with 6 the number of the first house. So the pattern for every row start from 1, which is 1 minus 1 equal to 0, 2 minus 1, which is 2 for the 2 house. We're going to get this pattern, and for the table we created above for the student, we can say that the formula we can use to solve this problem is 6 plus 6 minus 1, that is where n equals to first house, 2 house, third house, 4 house, 5th house, 6th house. Moving on to abstraction algorithm, which is what we need to get a simple what is important thing from the algorithm. Now find the answer that was asked at the beginning of the activization. That is, calculate the number of candies that Ali can collect at the 20th house if Ali visits house to house continuously. Show the solutions to the students that variable and based on the formula is represented as the number of houses visited by Ali. Like the formula, the first number, which is the first the items contained in every sequence of the patterns, and so n is equal to 20, which Ali need 20 houses. Change the variable n in the formula to 20, so we will find this equation as follows. So 20 minus 1 is equal to 90. 90 times 6 and plus 6, we're going to get 120. Alright, so here we're going to learn about the evaluation in this kind of slide. Ask the student if the answer they get is the same as the answer obtained to the formula. Do the different solution, give the correct answer. Let's try another method. Because mathematics have different methods, so we're going to use this one. Of course, we're going to make a table first, so the information will be organized and we can make conclusion or formula easier with this table. From the table, we find that the total number of sweets in the 5th house is 30. So to get the total number of sweets in the 20th house, the 5th house is multiplied by 4, because 5 times 4 equals to 20, which is this mean because we call or we assume the total 5 house as an object. So 5, when we plot that by 4, 5 house times 4, which is equal to 20 house. As well, the 20 house has 30 candies in each house, 6 candy in each of them. So when we make it easier in 5th house, when we 6 times 5 equal to 30, in the 5th house we have 30 already, so we need to only 5 house, we need only to multiply by 4. So also as well, the 30 in the 5th house, multiply it by 4 as well. So when 30 times 4 equals to 120, the answer is 120, which is the same as the formula answer as before. So move on to the next one. Over here, we have the exception. We have to also test the students' skill after the question or the activity so we can sharpen their mind and critical thinking more. So give some question as quiz to students such as the amount of candies that are calculated on the 30-second house or the 100 house as same, just plug in the number into the formula and get the answer. Give instruction to the student that they have to solve the question by themselves or to help of others, which is this is a first way. If they want to, before they start, ask first what they can call, they can tell the difference between the new and the old questions, so they can make a difference what the number or what the sentence is difference in the problems. Moving on, abstraction algorithms. Create an algorithm that can be applied by students to the given situations. Students should be able to give the value of n by substitute the value of n in the equation formula. Make sure to check the answer obtained using the formulas and algorithm from the way to solve the previous question. This is where the student apply the method from the or the step by step from the previous question that they solved to the next question, which is the same question but different numbers or variables is used in the question. Alright, so here we have the evaluation assessment and which is also the time is 6 minutes in this slide, the average time for primary school students. But here we have evaluation. At the end of teaching session, give homework that use the algorithms and formula used. Give instruction that students can use other methods and make the method taught as a reference for students to get the correct answer. Which means over here, when we teach the students about things in the activity, that's just as a reference for them to use and apply for themselves in the problem or in the future or problems they face in the exams. This way they will be more independent and more be mature and we may be thinking in more creative way to solve the problem without any guidance. So the question is as follows. Mikael earns RM2 for every house he visits on Hari Raya. If Mikael visits from house to house continuously, sum up the amount of money on the 45th house, which is the same. We need to use the method from the previous question and then apply it in this one, but just different sequence. Some of the sequence one, which is here the 45th one. With the previous one, we just need the 21. So here we have Jamaluddin put 8 pens on a pencil board, calculate the number of pens by Jamaluddin in the 28 pencil board, which is the same thing as well. Students will be assigned as two groups, which is easier way. As a primary school student, they can exchange the idea or opinion to solve the problem, which is kind of interesting for students, which is fun because they can talk, also have a chat while solving the problems. The teacher will give question as a quiz. The question consists of the same question for each group, so they can discuss by group or by individuals in the group. The group that can answer the question correctly and fastest will be declared the winner and will receive a prize, which is more interesting because kids love a prize, right? The explanation with the group division method, students can work together by contributing the ideas to each other to solve the following quiz or homework question more easily and quickly. Here, students can learn that each individual's opinion or idea is different and this idea will give excellent result. That's all from me. I hope you guys enjoy my presentation. Thank you so much.